Hello, Missy Heydrich, and we are back here at Big 12 Women's Basketball Media Day, now joined by the contingent from the University of Houston. 14-16 overall last year, 5-13 in their first season in the Big 12. Coach Ronald Hughey now in his 11th season at Houston, and with him, fifth-year senior guard Ashley Chevalier, as well as fifth-year senior guard Aaliyah Love. Welcome to all of you. Coach, I'll start with you. As you look back on year one in the Big 12, I think a year ago we talked about trying to put together the pieces of the roster. It's not going to happen overnight. But as you went to the portal, you think about incoming freshmen, you think about key returners. How has having that type of consistency and veteran leadership to mold with some of these new faces going to be helpful in this next year in the Big 12?
Yeah, the thing that happened for us is now with the transfer portal, you get a chance to mold your team every year. We've gotten rid of the depth chart that's hung in the back on the wall that you kind of wrote the names in, freshman, sophomore. That's out now because of the portal. So now we have an opportunity to grab Power 4, Power 5, whichever one you want to use, players, and that's what we had a chance to do in the transfer portal this year. And, you know, it started with us with getting the right fit. And it always starts with, you know, how are they at home with their parents, those kind of things. So, again, there's a lot of factors that goes into this thing that we as coaches now call speed dating, because that's how fast it happens. But we were very, very fortunate to be able to get some players that came from some places that had postseason experience, that played a lot of minutes and were impact players where they were. And so now they have an opportunity to bring that and put the red on for Houston, and now we can be able to see how we measure up having those kind of players on the floor. Because last year we had American kids that came from the American Conference, were really, really good in that conference. We finished in the top three, I think, the last 3 or 4 years. And again, now it's the next step up. And it takes time, like you said, to be able to get there. And we're really excited about where we're headed this year.
As you look back on this first year of the Big 12 and moving into this year, it's different. Obviously, your year one and year two are going to look different with the teams that you will encounter. But what is it that struck you about this league and said, you know what, this is why it is one of the very best in the nation?
It's the very best just because of all the different teams and the different styles of play. So, again, you're going to get every single thing on the smorgasbord of whatever you want to eat. You're going to get matchup zone. You're going to get fast transition. You're going to get slow down. You're going to get 33 pointers a game. The next time you might get 5 high-low, 15 high-lows a game. You're going to get every single thing. So the game planning keeps you on your toes. And all the great coaches, you know, I can't even begin to talk about all the different coaches that you have from all the experience. But, again, all that game planning and those kind of things, again, it's going to be hard for other conferences to measure up to what we have in the Big 12.
No doubt. You top 3 in the league last year in turnover margin. I think it's a method of chaos, so to speak. But how do you create that? How do you build that type of mentality with your team every year to be that good defensively?
Well, let's start with our toughest. The toughest team win. It's a mentality that we have. It's a mindset that we have. It starts with all the conditioning we do to get our girls prepared to be the best that they can possibly be. Because once you're in condition, you got a chance to do every single thing that you want to be able to do. The second part of that is having the opportunity to buy in to the system and create the chemistry that you want. You don't come to Houston without knowing that you're going to play some defense. It's just simple as that. And again, we're going to be able to do that. And third, you come here because you have the opportunity to have freedom on offense to be able to go and play. So you'll see them in multiple positions. You'll see them in multiple actions. You'll see them in opportunities to go up and down where they have the leadership to be able to call things on the floor and make things happen for themselves, because I'm not a dictator on the offensive side. I am a dictator on the defensive side.
That's okay. You got to have one, or you could do both if you want. That's your job.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to ask a couple questions of the young ladies next to you, both of whom are transfers, are coming here to the University of Houston. I'll start with you, Ashley, a transfer from Texas Tech. You started 23 games a year ago in Lubbock. You bring Big 12 experience now to this Houston team. How important do you think that is, and what kind of advantage does that give you as you think about game preparing?
Yeah, I think that it's just, especially with Houston coming from the American, it's just something that was just needed. I think I really emphasize the expectations, the standards that we need to have, because it's just different. At the end of the day, Big 12 is a different animal, and that's something that I really try to hone in and preach to the team.
Coach talked about defense. So obviously, if you want to see minutes, that's got to be something that you got to buy into. How competitive, how intense has it been in practice over these first few weeks as you really hone in on some of those concepts on the defensive end?
Oh yeah, we get after it every day, every day. We just really buy into it, and we know that that's just, we have to. Like, sometimes defense is going to save us when offense isn't working, and that's just what we really got to lock into, and that's what's going to make us really good this year.
Well, fifth-year senior guard Aaliyah Love, she is also a homegrown kid, went to Olathe North High School from Olathe, Kansas. You came from Louisville where you played 31 games. Talk a little bit about someone, you've been a part of other programs. What is it and why Houston, and what was it for you that this was going to be the right place and the right choice?
Just the vision that Coach has for the team going forward, both as a player, as a person, and as a team. He wants to win. He needs players that want to win and want to play defense, so it's like my thing. So just getting those players around us is like a really good thing.
In terms of coming here to Houston, I should say here, but coming to this program, and then knowing that you've got your off-season things to focus on, what was it that you focused on in the gym to say, this is where I can be better, this is where I can have an impact for my new team?
Really just consistency, on both ends of the floor. Getting to my spots, getting my teammates in their spots, and flying around on the defensive end, because defense wins games, wins championships, so yeah.
Well, that sounds fantastic. All right, I'm going to open it up. If any of our media members here have any questions, please raise your hand. We will bring a microphone to you. We've got one here in the front.
Coach Matthew Postins, Heartland College Sports. I'm curious, you've been at Houston 11 years. You got a really good resource there in Kelvin Sampson, who has coached in this conference, albeit on the men's side. How much did you tap into his knowledge base over your first year in the conference?
No, I tap into him every day. Coach Sampson and I have a really good relationship. I'm in his practices all the time. I have questions, I can text him at 2 a.m. and he can answer me back. We park next to each other, and sometimes it takes us 15 minutes to get out the vehicles because we're talking basketball. And, the thing I love about Coach Sampson is he's coached women before. So we started talking about that as well. But the thing is, they're always in open arms to be able to help us and be the best that we can be. I tell the young ladies all the time, we're swimming next to sharks, because that's who they are, and we see it. And, the tenacity and what they play with, the toughness and what they play with, we try to mimic that every single day. But, yeah, Coach Sampson's been a tremendous resource for me the entire time.
Coach, I know she's not here with you today, but there's a lot of people in the Big 12 that are excited to see a redshirt sophomore guard that you have on your roster in Gigi Cook. She missed last year because of an injury, transferred to you from Maryland. How is she doing physically? Is she going to be ready? And what is your expectation for the youngster this year?
We are expecting her to really come into her own. She really has to find herself after missing last year. The one thing that we can expect is her to play with some high intensity. Again, after missing a year, you're a little excited. Sometimes your decision maker's not going to be there. You got to catch up with your leg. You're coming off ACL. So again, she's getting herself together right now on all of it, and really just excited about being back on the court again. And I think once she starts to hone in and really start to understand how we're going to play, what we're going to do, and how you need to do it, she's going to be really good. The one thing that you don't question is her heart. Her heart is in it every single day, and she's finally gotten herself focused and ready to go after it every single day.
Well, high expectations. With that high expectations, all the teams in this league, the grind that it is, you've gone through it, you've seen it, but also then you have to think about what you do in the first 2 months of the season. So how did you approach non-con? What sort of challenges, opportunities for success did you want to give this team, and what do you want to see from them early?
We wanted to have a good balance. Last year, we felt like we were a little soft in the non-conference, and it didn't prepare us as we needed to be for the Big 12, because we need to build some confidence as well. We thought with this group, we can be able to do both, build some confidence and be able to have some competition. So we have a road game, against Minnesota. We're going to Georgia and those kind of things like that. But again, we wanted to be able to have this group come out and be able to build confidence at home, be able to build some chemistry with each each other, but also take on some challenges that were on the road that we needed, because that's what's going to help us most in the Big 12.
Well, when you go on the road, you got to play defense. So it sounds to me like that's what the challenge is going to be, ladies.
Exactly.
Well, we wish you the very best. Coach, thank you so much for your time.